Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
This is Alison Kentos. I am an early childhood educator.
And this is Cindy Tarabush. I am an early childhood consultant.
This podcast is for parents and early childhood professionals.
Let our experience and research-based knowledge become your guide.
Hi, preschool peeps.
Hi, peeps.
Welcome back to the podcast,
Hey.
where we are going to shout out some of the places where people are listening. But before we do that, I want you all to know that we recorded a quick video that we put on Facebook of what we do before we record these episodes. If you are not connected to our Facebook page, go find us, How Preschool Teachers Do It podcast on Facebook, and you will see the video.
It's funny.
I think it's fun and funny.
I think it's fun. We mostly are just having fun here.
We are.
Well,
It's true.
spreading knowledge, yes.
Yes.
It's what we do.
Yes, it is what we do.
Yeah. All right. We're shouting out Singapore today, which, like, come on, Singapore, like, that's amazing.
It is. It is truly amazing. And
Really
if you're in
amazing.
Singapore listening to us or watching us on YouTube, please tell your friends in Singapore.
Mm-hmm. And Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. I have a cousin who spends part of the year in Arizona.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't think it's Phoenix. I could be wrong.
I
could be.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now, my cousin, and I'm wrong about that, sorry, but I don't think it's Phoenix.
It might not be. That's pretty, like, I feel like if you're going to go there part of the year, it's not going to be in a city necessarily. Maybe it's because there's so many.
My family loves cities, so I'm not sure.
You grew up in the city.
I
so
grew up in the city.
so
Yeah,
I
we
can
love
see that.
cities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And speaking of different environments,
Oh
my
what
gosh.
a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Not even planned. We never plan this stuff. Okay.
speaking of different environments, we're here today to talk about how you can find nature no matter your environment, no matter where your early childhood program or family are, whether you are in a rural, suburban, inner city area. It doesn't matter. You can still find nature. And the question is, what different sorts of things can we see? I think no matter where you are, what we're going to talk about today, you can find where you are.
Yeah, you can find something in there.
And this information was inspired by an article in National Geographic.
Which I, as a sciencey kind of person, I'm on their teacher. I don't know, like I could take classes through National Geographic, and they send
I
me.
should do
yeah,
that.
they're really good, and you can get classes that you could share with students. Like, see how this one says like grade, it'll say grade levels on it. So like, and some of them are for like the preschool years, and some of them are for like older kids, and it'll give you like different things that you could do. Like you can put it on like a smart board at a school or something and do it with them. Yeah, it's cool.
That's good to know.
It's really amazing. You just have to sign up through their website. So shouting out National Geographic because they're awesome. You just have to sign up on their website. I took a lot of the classes during COVID, and you would learn like different things. And then now I'm on their mailing list, and they send me like all sorts of articles all the time. And this is one of them about finding urban nature.
But these are things you can find anywhere. You're right.
Yeah.
I thank you for that shout out for National Geographic. We'll have to tag them.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I should. So is it
should.
professional development?
Yeah,
some
there's
of it?
professional
Do
development.
they give you like certificates and all?
I think I did get a certificate. I haven't done it in a
Wow.
while, but I
I'm
think
gonna
I
have
did
to
get a
look into it.
certificate. But they also have classes for like students, like
Right.
you as a teacher or you as a parent could go on and be like, "We're watching whales," like it's amazing.
Wow.
It's really
okay,
amazing.
good to
Yeah.
know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
So we're going to share maybe some of our own ideas,
Yep.
some ideas that were inspired by this article from National Geographic, and we will link the article on our website. It will be there by the time you get this episode.
Yes.
Okay. So a couple of the ideas that we thought were really good.
Yeah.
And that we could even, some of these you can actually create on your property.
On your property. Yes.
From your early childhood program. So the information from National Geographic is not specifically aimed at early childhood. It's actually a little older.
Yeah.
But we can early childhood it.
We can early childhood anything.
That's the truth.
Okay,
That's the truth.
So.
So the first idea that's in this article that I think we can early childhood up
Oh yeah.
is to volunteer at a community garden.
Yes.
I directed an early childhood program on the property of a faith-based building where they had a community garden.
Yay.
Yes. We had big bee problems. We went out there. We could not bring the children because of the bee problems and the potential for allergies. But when we didn't have those bee problems, we would take the children over to the community garden.
Yeah.
And we would look at what's growing there and talk about it. and experience it. And they had even their own little section of it.
Yeah. At my school, currently, I'm the one that is in charge of the school garden.
Ah.
Which is a good and a bad thing, because when it's successful, it's successful, but when it is not, it is not. But even when it's not, I bring the children out there and be like, why do you think this isn't working? And I usually am like, in their little 3-year-old minds are like, oh, it didn't get enough water, or, but it's good. Like, then it gives them ways to problem solve natural little things that could happen. And it shows the growth, so like they planted the seed and then they saw it grow and then they saw the tomatoes grow or whatever was out there. So like, it's cool.
Don't you feel like more and more areas in cities have community gardens?
Yes.
You may have to arrange a visit with someone.
I think you do, or you can arrange to have a plot in the community. I know somebody
that would be great.
I know somebody who lives up by me. There is a large community garden in one of the towns, and she has a plot there, but you have to apply for it, and then she goes and she tends to her plot. She plants whatever she wants, but then she often gives some of the vegetables away to people who need them. So
if you don't have a community garden nearby, you can create your own school community garden.
you could, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You could create a community garden for the area in which your program is and invite other people.
Yes.
You can create your own just for your school.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the cities, community gardens, check that out.
Yeah.
That's a great thing
Yeah.
if you don't already.
Yeah.
Right? We can also document some of the things that we see.
Yeah.
Like we can document things about the weather.
Yes.
And that idea comes from what's in the article, which talks about documenting things about the seasons.
the seasons, because no
I
matter
think
where,
weather is great,
weather's
personally.
great, but no matter where you live, seasons and weather are happening, right? So like, there's no getting around it. That's nature, right? Like, so
Unless you're like in San Diego where it's beautiful all year.
weather's still happening though. It's just beautiful weather.
It is.
Right?
It's
So maybe
beautiful all the time.
maybe you might have to be like, how sunny is it today in San Diego versus how like
You could
degrees
look at-
of sunniness, but still it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's still weather. It's
know,
still happening.
A lot of early childhood programs will do things like collect the rainfall,
Yes.
look at thermometers. Although I was talking to a group one time and I said, if I'm going to talk about the weather with young children, I do it outside.
Yeah.
They need to feel it and
They need
smell
to-
it. I
yeah.
love to take children out when it's going to rain and you can like smell the rain.
Yeah.
So they do need to be feeling it as we're
Yeah.
talking about things like temperature. And I said, oh, and you should bring a thermometer out there. And I'm always surprised by how many people go, oh, never thought about that.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Bring a thermometer
Bring a
out there.
thermometer
Get
outside.
a weather thermometer.
Yeah.
Bring it out there.
Yeah.
Talk about how does it feel? Does it feel warm? Does it feel hot? Does it feel cool? Does it feel cold?
Yeah.
And that's where that is on the thermometer.
Yeah.
And then you can mark, if you have the right kind of thermometer, you can mark where the temperature was today and where the
then where
temperature
it
is
is.
another day and talk about it going
That's a
up
great
and
idea.
going down.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
You can
Great
do that
idea.
no matter where your program
Yep.
is.
Yep.
So that's another thing. And you can mark things about the seasons, like what do I observe when it's winter? What do I
Yeah.
observe when it's fall? What do I observe when it's summer and spring? Which is particularly good in the area we're in because we
Right.
get all 4 seasons.
We get all 4 seasons, and that's and we have a lot of trees here, so we can do that. But I think one of the ideas they had in that article was pick a spot, 2 spots in your area. One could be like right outside your house, and one could be at a park. And what looks different, like go there at the same time or whatever. What looks different in winter here than here? Because there's going to be differences. Like outside your house is different than what a park might have.
That's a really nice hands-on activity to send home to families
Yeah.
to say, take your child outside
Yeah.
and document what your child says about how the weather looks where you live, and then we're
Yes.
going to talk about it at school.
Yeah.
I think that's a great
It's a good
thing
idea.
because it's a
Yeah.
hands-on active thing,
Yeah.
which is what we want families to
what we
do.
want,
We don't want families doing worksheets. We want
Right.
families doing active things just like we're supposed to do in our classrooms.
Yes.
Another idea, which was a particular favorite of mine,
She loves this idea.
which
She's
I-
a bird person.
I'm fascinated by birds, and I actually, as many of you know, I have 2 parakeets
Yes.
who continually entertain and fascinate me. Mostly entertain; they're very funny little things.
Yeah.
But another idea was to set up a bird cam, and again, you can set up bird cams anywhere. You can be
Yes.
looking at pigeons in a city.
Yep.
You could be looking at seagulls near the water.
Yes.
Right? You could be looking at robins
in
It's
the
springtime,
Yeah.
and talking about the weather and the birds. I love the idea of a bird cam.
Yeah.
And, today cameras are so
everywhere.
easy to set up
set
and
up.
get and record. When I think about it, even like Ring cameras might catch some of that.
Yes. There's also, although a little pricey, because I thought about getting it for myself just because I thought it was cool, there is a bird feeder that you could buy that has a camera built into it.
Oh.
You would love this. So that you could see them land, and then it'll record them, and then you can kind of like track like what birds are coming at what time. It's pretty cool. Okay.
That is cool.
It is really cool.
That
But
is
a
really
little
cool.
pricey, so I understand that. But if you can't afford to put a camera or don't have the means, you can go on a lot of like zoo websites, I would say, maybe even sanctuary websites that have bird cameras set up, and you can just watch them.
Yeah.
You can go on like the Eagle site and
Yeah,
see the
you can
eagles.
go online and
Yeah,
look at
you can
bird
do that
cams.
too.
But I
Yeah.
think it's even better to set up your own if you can.
It is cool because like you'll get to see the migration even. Like not all birds are going to be there all the time, right? So like you can start tracking like when is this one here? When did he leave? Like when,
That's a
that's
cool
kind
thing.
of cool.
There are certain birds that might catch your attention. Like, for example, I have woods out behind where I live, and we will get woodpeckers out here.
Oh, I just watched an amazing documentary about woodpeckers.
Oh.
Amazing.
We get woodpeckers.
Yes.
We get the typical sorts of birds, but also sometimes different ones. And we get hummingbirds and like
yeah.
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think bird cam, fun.
Fun.
If, of course, in the woods back here, we could just set up cam and we would catch
Cam.
we would catch like squirrels, skunks,
Raccoons, everything. But that's
rabbits.
nature too. That's
Yeah.
nature too. That's all good stuff.
Yeah. Another great idea, I
I
think.
like this idea.
I know you like this one. She likes this one. It's a flower pot tour.
It's cute. Okay, so like if you're in an area that there are no gardens and there's not really parks, but people will plant in flower pots and put them on their porch or their stoop, then you can go around and do a little flower pot neighborhood tour and even like be like, oh, today this is just green, and then 3 weeks from now, oh look, there's a flower. Like there's just like, and it's easy. Right?
One
You're
of these
just walking.
days, I'm going to take you on a walk
Yeah.
in this neighborhood
Yeah.
where there's someone's home who's like, you wouldn't know they're there. They're in the back of like a building.
Right.
And it looks like a plant store. It really
that.
looks like a plant store.
It's amazing.
I'll take you on a walk one day.
I would like that.
So, but looking around neighborhoods, you will find that people have plants. It isn't true that if just because you're in a more city area that there's no plants. There are
Right,
plants.
there's
People
plants.
have them.
Yeah.
People will grow vegetables on their terraces and that sort of thing. So it's sort of like playing, if we were going to preschool this up, it's sort of like playing I Spy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What plants do you spy as we go outside and we look around and maybe go on a nature walk?
Yes.
Because a nature walk is not restricted to suburban or rural areas.
That's true.
People in cities can also go on nature walks and look for what natural nature things do we see
Right.
by looking around at what's
Because
near the buildings.
Around those flower pots, you're going to find things like insects, bees, hummingbirds sometimes, like things that maybe you wouldn't normally see, but they're going to be surrounding that. Little butterflies.
Yeah.
Like those things are going to be around if people have flower pots on their porch.
I also really encourage you to encourage photography on these nature walks, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get some child-friendly cameras, like they still sell the disposable ones, I
they
think,
do.
right?
Think so, yeah.
So if you get some child-friendly cameras like that, give it to the children and let them photograph the nature they're seeing. That can be a very cool experience for this summer.
Yeah.
Which is coming up once this episode releases.
That's true.
Right? You should be in pretty good weather wherever you are right now, listening, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to think about going on walks at different times of day.
Yes.
Because you will see, hear, and smell different things in the morning than you would in the afternoon.
Yes.
So even thinking about how can we vary our time,
Yeah.
right? Go on a nature walk at another time of day. And you can also really focus in on the sky.
Oh, yeah. That's actually a really good idea. I think especially if you're going to combine the photography with the sky thing, like you could take a picture of the same sky every day and it would be different.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of cool.
And you could talk about then the clouds and the movement of the clouds.
The movement of the clouds and the sunset or the sunrise or whatever time you're at. Like, I think that's a really good idea.
You can encourage families to do that sort of thing at home too, because it'll be a different view there.
Yeah.
I remember where I am anyway, when I was younger, seeing way more stars than we see now. There's
That's
too
true.
much light.
There's a lot more light now.
Yeah, there's too much light. You really have to be in a very, you have to be in an area where there's less opportunity for light in order to see the sort of stars that we saw when we were children.
Yeah.
But if you can get the children to somewhere where they can see stars, that would be awesome.
Because it's awesome.
Yeah. Where they can see like a sky full of stars, like when I was young.
Yeah.
Like I don't really see that anymore unless you're like in a wooded area.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really. Let's see. So wildlife exists everywhere.
Everywhere.
Children love to observe insects.
Insects are easy. To me, that's easy. Like, because even just finding an ant on the ground, you can watch that, right? And those kind of things are everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. If you have access to botanical gardens, an aquarium,
An arboretum. Yeah.
an aquarium, a zoo
A zoo.
that is kind to the animals.
Yes. Thank you.
I honestly am surprised sometimes when I go and it's like animals in cages, and I'm like, no, little zoo, no.
That's not a zoo.
But if you can go to for example, the Bronx Zoo does conservation.
Yeah, they do.
So, if you have access to a really good place that has animals, sea life,
Right.
plants,
Yeah.
that you can go visit, that's a really worthy field trip.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I work with or have worked with a program that is near the Bronx Zoo, near enough anyway.
Yeah.
And once a year they take a school trip with the preschoolers
That's nice.
to the Bronx Zoo.
Yeah.
And they get to walk around the zoo and see different areas and different animals, and it's just a really cool thing.
That is cool.
And it's not even like those children. By the way, those children live in that area. Like
Right.
they're good. They go there with their families.
Yeah.
And there are days at the Bronx Zoo that are free.
Yeah.
So that no matter your income, you can go. And these children have ordinarily been to that zoo already
Right.
when you talk to them. But still, it's an awesome school trip.
it is.
So don't think like, we live near the Arboretum. Everybody goes to the Arboretum.
Right.
Or we live near the Botanical Gardens. Everybody goes there. Going there with you makes it an entirely
Right.
different experience. So I really encourage that too.
Yeah.
I hope this inspires you to think about, no matter where you are, how can we approach being in nature, and what are some new ideas? Like maybe you're sick of the same nature walk. What are some new ideas for exposing children to knowledge about nature? Right. And speaking of knowledge, folks, behind Allison's head is something on YouTube. It's a QR code. If you don't know why that's there or what you would get, come to YouTube, use your camera to scan it, or go back an episode or two. You must have missed an episode or two if you don't know why this QR code is there. Go back and listen to us talk about it a few episodes, several episodes ago.
Yeah.
Check to see when it's first in the background.
Yeah.
And we talk about it in more detail.
Yeah.
If you can think of more nature ideas, please send them, or any topic you'd like us to talk about. We are open to topics.
Yes.
If we've already spoken about it, we will simply send you the episode number.
We will.
But if we haven't, we will include it. So we hope that you will contact us. That QR code gets you to where you can.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next time on the podcast.
Bye, peeps.